Hey everyone, I'm your host, Brittany Baker, and this is Tech Me As I Am, the podcast bringing self-love to corporate America. And the only thing that we care about is you being true to yourself. So let's dive right in and keep it authentic. Hello. Super happy to have everyone in today. I have an amazing episode that we're going to be talking about. And I've got an amazing guest in today, Joy Ofodu. And she's going to be helping us talk about I am not my hair, I'm not my expectation. So in today's kind of episode, what we wanted to do was highlight LinkedIn and Dove's partnership in Black hair being professional. And so Joy, really happy to have you here. She has been a amazing, self-celebrated actor. She has her own creative executive media company. You can see her on Dating Unsettled on her YouTube channel. I'm super happy to have you here, Joy, and talking about this amazing topic and getting your take on everything.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes. So let's talk about it. I really want to understand to you what your idea of Black hair is professional. Dive into what that campaign means to you. And let's talk about your hair journey. Because, I mean, as a Black woman myself and in the celebration of, Black History Month, Women's History Month, and identifying that, as that myself, I've had a lot of issues with my hair going into corporate America. And it was hard. I would never go into a job interview with my hair not straightened. So we'll talk about that, but I want to learn a little bit more about you and your journey.
Okay. So, I grew up in the East Bay area to Nigerian American immigrant parents. And I think that there are ways of handling hair in Nigeria and there are ways of handling hair here. And so it was all about trying to find those like African aunties to braid, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My mom used to do braids and little, oh my gosh, what are those things called? The bobbles, you know what I'm saying? Little clips, like things hanging off the hair. So that's kind of how I grew up. But once the hair started getting unruly, right? And these are all these negative monikers we ascribe to our hair, then it became about making it manageable. So I started to have this idea of it being me versus my hair, right? Or my mom versus my hair. And you feel like your hair is, I grew up feeling like my hair was a burden. My hair was super different from others in class. It was different from others once I started working. I felt very frustrated by the texture of my hair. Was and is very forcey, coily, full detangler necessary hair.
Yep.
So after I kind of quote unquote graduated from braids, I didn't have my first like wig/weave till late in high school, junior or senior year of high school. That's when I started being like, okay, maybe I can change the look. It's not so like Afrocentric or, I totally had the emo, like tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. I had the bang over the eye emo thing, flat iron pressed to the gods, like burnt crispy. I can smell my hair. So
I remember those, the smell of the hair. That's how you know you got it right.
And relaxer was regular. Relaxer was expected. Relaxer was normal. There was no doing my hair without relaxer. None of that really changed until I got to college and I saw, kind of the rise of natural hair care bloggers and Black women around me handling their natural hair. I was like, all right, wait a minute, this might be something. So I did do a bit of a big chop of all the dead ends before I went fully bald. And that happened in college. And I just started wearing wigs so that I could heal my hair underneath. In terms of Black hair being professional, I have a really crazy history with my hair, especially in college. So that's when I started working, in admissions and desk jobs. But I was crazy. Like sometimes I would go out with a straight, bang, long, flat, wig. And then the next day I might have the curly wig. Then the next day short curly. Then the next day wavy. I just really didn't care. I was under no pretense It's like I cared, but I didn't. I cared
Yeah.
to be presentable in some way, shape, or form, to have the hair done, whether it's weave, wig. One point I did oh my God, gigantic Senegalese twists.
Mm.
Like I cared to have it done, but I was not nervous necessarily in college. And I guess I'm lucky that, train of black hair being professional, I'm lucky that passed me a bit to where I did feel like I could show up with any style, but it
Yeah.
had to be a style. Like I'm not sure there were ever mornings I just woke up and it was just sheer the hair off my head, no fine apple. Because I do remember going into work with a couple of pineapples from time to time where you just push that hair up and let the curl. But there was no it just growing from my head. It just growing from my head was undone. And that sucks because if you think about it, white girls, Latin girls, Asian girls, they're waking up with the hair that grows up out of their head.
Yep.
And yeah, there's brushing. Yep. Yeah, there's spraying, spritzing, but it's done. Yeah. And we Black women don't believe half the time if you just wake up, it's done. So for me, it's just the nature of whether or not you brush, comb, fine apple it, Senegalese twist it, braid it, weave it, wig it, whatever you feel comfortable in being your hair and being ready for work. Like that is what I hope for people. I came to that through my series of trials and errors and then did a big chop and ultimately just said, I don't want to focus on what's on my head. I want to focus on what's in my head. Yeah. I want to go to work and I want to learn. I want to grow. I'm in technology. I do not have time waking up at 6 a.m. to make a San Francisco train to be at the office by 8:30 to eat breakfast, to start my first meeting by 9. I do not have time to be doing an hour of hair every morning. So I went bald and I buzzed it. And it's been, I don't know, maybe this isn't completely bald, but it's been
it's beautiful years. Though. It is such a statement. Like, can we talk about the statement and what that takes inside to say, I'm doing this? Because how much of our identity is attached to our hair just as women in general?
You know what's funny? People do kind of, I guess, put that on in a sense. They put that on me and they go like, oh, you're so brave, queen. And it's like, you know what? Actually, I think I was just irritated. I think I was fed up. I felt like my hair on my head was foreign. And that was the day that I called in. So I had been thinking about it. I've been picking it out of my head. There's a word for that when you're nervous and you pick hair out of your head, because I was so stressed about work and just, the post-college transition. So I had been doing different things and I was just like, this hair on my head, I don't even feel connected to it. The whole point of my natural hair journey, I felt, based on what I saw on YouTube and on Instagram, was to feel deeply connected to my hair through the products, through the positioning, through the poisons, through the whatever it is. I felt like I was supposed to be like, oh yes, I'm one with the earth and da-da-da. And I did go natural and I felt that for 2 minutes. And suddenly just all this stuff on my head felt like I just didn't feel emotionally or spiritually connected. I was literally like, if I could lose this hair, I would not care. Yeah. So why don't I just lose it? So I did. And I guess it was freeing in a sense. What was really cool for me was putting my flat hand on my head for the first time in 20 years.
Wow.
My dad touched my head. My friends touched my head, my family, and they were just like, whoa. And there was something very intimate about that and very sweet, that people can see me, feel me. There were people who told me I could see your face, and I can see it now. So that was kind of cool. There's a little bit of magic in it. But yeah, mostly it was just, mostly I was just irritated. Don't read too much into it.
But I'm saying though, how beautiful is that to take something like that inside of you and be able to say, this is me. Cause you had to accept yourself to do that. You had to be like, this is how powerful I am. This is how much I'm centering myself in me.
I guess. I think the acceptance came later though. It's not, for me, it wasn't a build up. I'm so confident. I'm so 100% that I can cut this off. It was more so, I'm frustrated. I don't want to think about this. Just get it off, please. And then once that came off, then the journey, I think, of acceptance of what my face looks like from all angles, not just, this minimal front we be seeing when we do those bangs.
Yeah.
What does my face and my head look like from all angles? what does it feel like in different seasons? What does it feel like in intimate settings? Like that came after cutting it. So that was a bit of a journey. And frankly, you know, I'm still on it. There are times I get mistaken for, there was a dog at my office that mistook me for another bald black girl, which was so funny. It was so funny. I was like, what? And his trainer was like, oh yeah, she thinks you're the girl downstairs. I was like, that's great.
Wow.
And then there are times that human beings, even black women would say, excuse me, sir, just because they would like see me from behind and I would get misgendered. I'm a woman. I've always been a woman. And so that was a very out of body experience to be in like the aisle of an airplane or at a cashier and like, oh, of course, sir. I'm like,
wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that was crazy. It's like, I don't think people are used to seeing dark skinned black women, bald and still feminine ?
Right.
That's
they don't. I mean, let's really be honest about it. Like, we don't. What, woman king? I mean, like, finally we got something where we have something out there to have representation recently. But like, where do we really get a chance to see women, beautiful women, inside and out, like being able to show up in that way and be looked at as who they are?
And I think there is a false like misconception about adult black women and their hair that like, you know, the longer and luscious and wavy and blah, blah, blah that it is, the more you care, which is so weird, right? Or like the longer the locks, the more effort you're putting into it, which is just false. We know that people deal with a whole range of issues from, you know, like me picking out hair, or whether it's someone has alopecia or premature baldness, or so this misconception that like, you know, that like even saying your hair is your crown, you know, which is a spiritual belief for some, I think can be problematic. Your hair is another part of your body. And if you choose to put that much value into it, then it's just about being okay with losing it. I personally, Joy, don't ever want to be so attached to a body part of mine that losing it makes me lose my royalty or my, you know, I just didn't like putting that much on my human form. I'm just a bag of bones.
It's, you know what though, like when we attach ourselves to external things, and we don't work on it from the inside, that's where if you lose it, you lose your identity, you lose your sense of self. And it's kind of like, well, I'm attaching myself. I think T.I. has said it. It was like, you live by the praises, you die by the boos, right? Like if I'm always going to be like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, when I don't get it, how bad am I going to feel about myself because I've attached myself to that thing, you know?
Right.
So like, how do we help us? And this is another thing too, like even in corporate spaces, I think this it goes deeper than that, right? It goes down to the trauma that, you know, Black people in general have had to deal with when it comes to our hair, because we've attached ourselves not just to our everything. A lot of things are external, are what we wear, how we go about doing different things. And we're not realizing the trauma that it's not us accepting who we are inside and feeling so beautiful. Because if you lose something, then what? How do you feel happy inside? The happiness comes from the love within ourselves. I think it just plays that the biases in corporate America. I feel like if you go into job interviews or you feel, you know, so external to, I don't feel comfortable. Like I would never wear my hair like this in a job interview, you know? So like it was a complex that I had within myself because I didn't love myself. I didn't realize that if I didn't have straight hair going into that job interview, I wouldn't feel like I was able to fit in with people that didn't look like me. And so for me, my hair journey was like, I want to be accepted. I want to be not different, you know? Yep. And when you take that away from me, if you take away my hair, what do I have? You know? And if you're using that as a means to not let me have this particular job or this opportunity, well, then how do I feel about myself? Because you're taking something away from me that is external.
What I think is interesting is like, we are using sometimes, not all the time. First of all, can I just say there's a love of protective styles And there's a love of doing the styles
Yes.
and laying the wig and
Yes.
having the different colors. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
there's absolutely no shame in saying, you know, this is actually the way that I prefer to wear my hair. I like it long. When I close my eyes, I see myself with long wavy hair. Whatever you like. I don't care. I absolutely don't. And I love it all. But I think that there's a way that we are afraid of being natural in our kinkiest, coiliest, curliest state because it makes us vulnerable. And we are already the most vulnerable group. We are paid the least, promoted the least, and in a really vulnerable position just as Black women already. Then you put us in the workplace where we, you know, those stats perpetuate.
Yep.
We are vulnerable walking around. So we wear masks, right?
Yep.
We mask up and we shield ourselves, and hair can be a part of that.
Yep.
If you've got hair that isn't yours, then if someone critiques it, questions it, touches it, etc., then it's not really you. And so
how
it doesn't
deep
really,
is that?
Isn't that funny?
Can you say that again? Say that one more time.
If you have hair that isn't yours and someone critiques it, you know, cuts it, colors it, touches it, whatever, it's not you. So if they ask you about it, oh my God, this is, it just feels disconnected from you. It's still annoying, but it's not you. So you are protecting yourself by adding layers on top, by adding sheen on top, by adding the curls on top, by adding the wig on top, by adding the cap, and you get to stay safe underneath. But when you've got your natural hair out, if somebody's reaching for it, if somebody's asking you about it, if they're noticing that it changes, they're seeing you, like they're seeing natural you. And so I think that because Black women in the workplace are already masking and already guarded, to add on this pressure to have your natural hair out is like sometimes unfair. It's like, okay, so I have to bring, it's the whole bring your whole self to work.
Yep. We know that one.
Paradox, or conflict, because shoot, I am a Gen Zer. I did feel like I could bring my whole self to work. I was allowed to be silly and I was allowed to be loud. In corporate America, I worked at Instagram for 4.5 years. I was allowed to do that in ways that I felt based on what I perceived and what I was told my like older Black colleagues were not. You know, oh, y'all can't say it? Okay, I'll say it for you. You know, like because I can. I'm, you know, the quote unquote, it's like the baby of the workplace, right? Is allowed so many mistakes and experimentation and vulnerability. So if I want to show up with this hair one day and this hair the next day and blah blah blah, well, she's still learning, you know. So I was very safe in that. So I think that it is fair to expect that if we're already asked to be so much, to show so much, to show up in social settings, to come to the happy hour, to be friendly, to like that wears on us. And if having a protective style is also a way of just like protecting our own self-esteem.
All high school.
You know?
Sorry. Yeah. Yep.
No, yeah. If having a protective style is a way to protect our self-esteem, then go, so be it.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And I think, I really think that when it comes to like loving ourselves, I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. Like everything that we do in life is about really truly being able to freely love ourselves. And I don't know, I've been on my own personal journey of like learning how to love myself, because it took me a long time to get to this point where I could feel comfortable wearing my natural hair and doing that. I mean, there's sometimes I do want to wear my hair straight, or sometimes I do want to put weave in, or I want to get braids done, and that's what I think is so freeing about like just being able to be a Black woman, is that we get to do so many different things with our hair. We can try different things out, you know?
Yeah, that's what's hilarious. If I see a Black woman's headshot and then I know I'm going to have a virtual meeting with her or meet her in person, I have zero expectation that it's going to be the style that I see at all. If she's got straight hair in the photo, I might see her with, you know, I might see her bald. I have no idea, no clue.
Absolutely.
She's blonde. I might meet her brunette. I do not know. And I do not, it's not, I don't care, but it's actually that I'm rather excited to see what she decides to pop up with. And that used to be me. Like at school class, I would go to, you know, I was at USC. I go to an 8 a.m. in one wig. I would go to the afternoon lunch in my natural. The evening would be a different wig. Sometimes three hairstyles a day. I was sick.
Wait, hold on. Is that, you said 3 hairstyles a day?
Oh, I'm being so serious. I would literally do curly wig for the morning shift, short. It was like super curly. I could probably find the name somewhere. One of those Sensational synthetic wigs. And then in the afternoon, I might be like, and just, put the hair in a bandana or like the pineapple and, go study or blah, blah, blah. And then by the evening time, I was working in Hollywood. So I would do red carpet photography and I would just that bang wig would go on. And I would have a different wig, 3 in a day. I think
care. I think that's agility, too. Sometimes, sometimes it's like, look, I gotta be over here. I gotta do this. There's so many. I don't know.
It's a wig for different occasions. It's like putting on shoes. If you could go to 3 different events, you'd have on different shoes. And so to me, hair was the same, and I didn't mind. And I bet people were looking at me crazy, but at the same time, like what mattered most as a professional is my work was undeniable. Right? So I'm leading a team of interns, or I am, doing photography, or I'm nailing my academics, or whatever. Black hair is professional to me because as long as you do what you need to do, should nobody be worried about what's on your head
at all.
At all.
Period. Yeah. The work is done. My hair has absolutely nothing to do with this role whatsoever. So that's why black hair is professional.
If you got the work to back it up,
I'm saying
no one should be questioning what's on your head. But if your work is slipping, that may not be the time to disappear for a day and show up with braids. Just saying.
Like, wait a minute. How did you get that done? Like,
those questions I would get when I used to live further deep in the East Bay. Did it grow overnight? Oh, yes, Stephanie, it did. Thank you. I
know. But it's not. I don't want to say it's ignorance bliss, but I don't know if it's ignorance. I don't know. I don't know.
And we're still getting those questions in the workplace as adults.
Oh, absolutely. I'm laughing because I've experienced it myself.
Do you know what the funniest part is?
2 weeks ago.
And they're walking around with extensions too. Let's be very, very clear. The Latin, white, Asian, Indian, and diaspora girls from all over are also wearing hair extensions.
Absolutely.
So that's why they'd be knowing. That's why they'd be asking what they're looking. They're trying to shop. They're looking for referrals. It's not.
Can
just
I get
us.
your hair supplier?
There's such a thing, and I hate to see this perpetuated by black men, especially be like, the other races don't go and grabbing hair from blah 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 to go put on their hair. Yes, they do. They do. Actually, they're not doing it at the they're not doing the closure install. Right. They're just clipping it in
inside,
or gluing it
to give volume,
sewing it. Yeah, the girls love volume. When I figured that out, I was like, oh,
don't we have volume?
I thought the products were supposed to, because based on the commercials, it said, oh, that's interesting. There's things that you don't even know people are envious of, but that's the black hair professional conversation for me.
Absolutely. And sometimes, again, a lot of times, all the times, I feel like the only reason that you can be envious of someone or be jealous and not even, like, I'm not being jealous. I'm not being racist. It's if you don't love yourself. If you can't love yourself and see who you are from within, you are never going to be able to truly love others. And that goes for others from all ethnicities, others in your family, others in your friends. You are going to be a toxic person who, because you're hurting and not realizing it and are on autopilot, you're just hurting people along the way. And until you really, really, really take a step back and say, who am I? And can I get on this journey and understand myself better? Will you really be able to show up as you? And I feel like that just, to me, love breaks and heals all. It breaks all the toxic things. It breaks all of the hurtful things, hate, and it just brings peace and, unity.
Just mind your business. Also, if you can't love yourself, please mind your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
That part too. Yeah. That's microaggressions for you. Microaggressions. I don't know. I've been there. I'm just going into these different spaces I've been in as you talk. I'm just like, dang, yeah. Been there, did that, had that, So, yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about like, the Dove and the LinkedIn partnership and what it's meant to you. I saw you did a post on LinkedIn about the partnership. Talk to me a little bit more about like why you decided to stand up and be an advocate for the space.
Yeah. Well, so Dove reached out to me through an agency, and they really have been about this. It's not brand new. I actually did partner with them last year, I think towards the end of the year, on the Crown Act as well. So we have been advocating for legislature that protects Black women and all from discrimination based on the natural hair that's up on their head. It's something so simple that you almost wish it didn't have to go to legislature. You wish people would just do it. But America is a sick and twisted place, and America is a place that is very bigoted and biased, and still, this is me representing my own views only, inherently racist. We are systemically and inherently racist, the foundations of this country, to where we are now. So we are unworking a lot as opposed to establishing, right? We're trying to deconstruct and tear down and ban and ratify, where we should be building and growing at our big age. At America's big age. But I was honestly just honored. It was a no-brainer for me on sharing my story. I also have a weird career, I guess you could say, of being so artistic, all that time in undergrad, and so professional because I was working with NAACP and I was consulting on different brands. I was a Disney intern, and then graduated college with a full-time job in technology, where I was at Instagram for 4.5 years, flying to New York, and I'm flying to Berlin, and I'm flying to Atlanta, and then I'm doing research in LA. I'm conducting events here, and I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, I was very visible in the tech industry, and people started to look to me as like a symbol, a signal, inspiration, motivation. I was like, this is really cool because I'm like 21.
You're like, wow.
Like, okay, sure.
Right.
So I felt designated in that way to like carry myself in a way that would represent us well, and then also pull us in through the door. So I think to me, like, this Dove campaign is it's not the beginning, but it is for me, right? Because we have been partnering and Dove has been on this for a while, but it's a bit of the beginning of pulling other people into being really comfortable in the way that they appear. And through my platform, because I've been publishing short form videos online, some are dating stories. I would say a good 90% of them. Others are affirmation. And those are actually my most popular videos, where I'm just speaking directly to the camera when something comes onto my heart and motivating people. I think that this has grown because people just need to hear a voice that's telling them, like, it's okay to be you. It's okay to show up here. You're loved. I was the host of a meditation app called the Shine app, which was a Black and Asian woman owned meditation app. Every single day, there was a podcast. You can still listen to it on podcast platforms. It's called The Daily Shine. And so when I narrated The Daily Shine, I would get responses from women, workers, people, everyone. Thank you for helping me unwork the stress. I'm in recovery. This is valuable. I've heard from hundreds, if not thousands of people through the feedback who would listen to The Daily Shine every day. And I've just realized that my gift and my talent and my charge and how I'm supposed to show up is to heal people through my voice. Like, healing with humor, healing with writing, healing with meditation, healing with voiceover. But when I give people a good laugh, when I give people permission, like the Dove campaign, permission to be them and to accept themselves, like, it's just healing. So that's what I really aim to do with my company. That's what 30 million people have taken to. And I'm just hyped to be in this moment. Again, it feels like a lot because I've been working, but it's truly the beginning of what I think I'll be able to do. And I'm happy that Dove could be a part of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was going to say, and LinkedIn too.
And
absolutely.
LinkedIn.
Being somebody that personally, works for the company. I mean, it's a company that embodies really inclusivity. And to be honest, was able to be like the first experience I ever had being able to like heal myself even more than, I had already started the journey, like being in an environment of people that care and want to make a statement and want to challenge the status quo and really care about seeing progress. Like whenever you align yourself to that mission or that thing that drives you, something that makes you just feel whole, you just kind of grab onto it and you make sure you align yourself with other organizations. And I'm so glad that, LinkedIn and Dove came in together and embodied that and created a safe space for Black women and making Black hair professional.
LinkedIn is so about it. I love LinkedIn. Shout out to them.
Shout out to LinkedIn.
Them
Shout out to
y'all.
Dove.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, LinkedIn is really great. They were the first platform to accept me into like a managed creator program. So that's where I had like a creator manager and like insights into the platform before any other platform. So I was just really grateful for that. And I'm a LinkedIn top voice now. So publishing about my professional journey as a creative executive, as a voice actor, as a podcast host, as a content creator, all the different multifaceted parts of me, publishing on LinkedIn has enabled me to reach tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people every year, maybe a million by the end of the year, but it's enabled me to reach hundreds of thousands of professionals with my updates and get more gigs and get more invites and more speaking and more voiceover. So that's been really special. I need LinkedIn like I need water. Absolutely.
I need LinkedIn like I need water too.
Don't go anywhere, LinkedIn. Yeah.
But even just
like
outside of that, the people.
Very seriously. Well, okay, then that's another thing is that company-wise, every time I've either visited the LinkedIn office or met with a LinkedIn employee, like I've never heard a bad thing. Like people have great things to say about working there and the culture. And I think it shows, LinkedIn is a bit later than some other companies to invest in the creator economy specifically. But it's just because they realize that employees who are posting about being employees are writers. If they're sharing photos, they're photographers. If they're sharing videos, they're video creators. So it was cool that there was this shift of like, wait, the consumers or users of LinkedIn are actually creators on LinkedIn.
It's like, ding. Oh.
Yeah. Then I was like, hi, I'm Joy. I post every week. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for being with me today and launching, honestly, the first episode. I think this is such a beautiful moment. I feel like I got to share with you. And it really, really, really warmed my heart. So thank you for being here.
Yay, I'm glad. Happy to.
Awesome. All right, girl. Well, until next time, everyone, thank you so much for listening in. We will be returning back later in episode 2 with another future guest that we have coming. So really excited to let you all know who that will be. So until next time.